after absolutely dominating the primaries on Tuesday night and then laying out a comprehensive foreign policy vision this morning, Donald Trump has emerged as this nation's next great leader. My name's Howard Riell, and this is Real Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr and in the book Real Truth, Stay Angry. Of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM The Lion. Our call-in number, 877-254-7524. My friends, listen to this trailer from the new movie, the upcoming movie called Snowden. Here we go.
Best I can tell, you've been walking around with two broken legs for weeks. When do I go back? You ever again land on those legs of yours, those bones will turn to powder. Plenty other ways to serve your country. You wanted to be special forces? Yes, sir. Why do you want to join the CIA? I'd like to help my country make a difference in the world. The average test time is 5 hours. I'm done, sir. It's been 40 minutes. 38 minutes. What should I do now? Whatever you want. The deputy director of the NSA offered me a new position.
Can you tell me anything about it?
You know I can't. Find the terrorist in the internet haystack. You're making people very happy. Thank you. You ready for a little action? Oh, this looks juicy. How is this all possible? Think of it as a Google search, except instead of searching only what people make public, we're also looking at everything they don't. Emails, chats, SMS, whatever. Yeah, but which people? The whole kingdom's Snow White. The NSA is really tracking every cell phone in the world. Most Americans don't want freedom. They want security. Except people, they don't even know they've made that bargain.
Are they watching us?
There's something going on inside the government that's really wrong, and I can't ignore it. I just want to get this data to the world. Hey. I feel like I'm made to do this, and if I don't do it, then I don't know anybody else that can. This is everything I have. They're gonna figure out what I've done. Did you access an unauthorized program? The government knows that we have these documents now. You're looking at a possible death sentence. I can't turn back from this. Watch yourself. We are running out of time. They're gonna come for me. They're gonna come for all of you too.
It's an Oliver Stone movie called Snowden. It's going to be coming out soon. So why am I opening the show today with that clip? Well, that's a good question. And I applaud you for asking that question. Shows that you're paying attention. Here's why. You thought I was going to open with Donald Trump's stomping victory of last night, or his foreign policy speech today. Well, I am going to talk about those things. I wanted to begin with Edward Snowden for a reason. Edward Snowden blew the whistle on the machine. Donald Trump is currently involved in fighting against the machine. Now, lest you think we're talking about two different machines, we're not, and that's the point. It is an all-encompassing, globe-spanning machine that includes the government, the military, the intelligence community, the politicians, the huge corporations. It is all one edifice. And it doesn't like when people tinker with it. Certainly doesn't like it when people try to disempower it. You see what they're doing to Trump. The politicians are going after him in both parties. The media is after him all over the place. They're paying people to disrupt his live events. They're doing everything short of the unthinkable, because the machine won't be tinkered with. Now, Edward Snowden tinkered big time with the machine. What did he do? Here are all these covert types, all these Leviathan types, read Thomas Hobbes, doing what they're doing hidden in the dark of night. No one knows exactly what they're doing. Along comes Edward Snowden, and he throws open the curtains and shines the light of day on it, and they scramble like cockroaches, which is why he had to run for his life to another country. But make no mistake about it, Ed Snowden is a hero. He's a hero for America, for freedom, for open government, for constitutional government. So, in his way, is Donald Trump. Just like Edward Snowden, Trump has cast a very bright light on the darkroom shenanigans of the powerful. How they pick their nominees, how they pick their leaders, and how the American people don't get to pick them. Trump has shown a light on that, and believe me, the machine is very light sensitive. They don't cotton to it. They will do anything they can to stop Trump. Of course, tens of millions of Americans are behind Trump, which makes it awfully hard to stop him. Edward Snowden on one hand, Donald Trump on the other. The commonality is they're both shining light on people who hide in the dark. People who take advantage of you and me. People who use us, people who cheat us, who rob us, disempower us. Both men are heroes. Yes, heroes. So when this movie comes out, I'd like you to go see it. And when you get a chance to do anything at all to support Donald Trump, whether it's voting if you haven't voted yet, whether it's campaigning for him, whether it's supporting him online, whatever it is, do it. Because when a hero comes along, it's up to us to support him or her. We got a shortage of heroes these days, my friends. It's very dangerous to be a hero. And it's a precious resource and not one to be wasted or squandered. I'm going to be talking a lot about what Donald Trump did yesterday, what he's done so far, and the pathetic attempts that Cruz and Kasich are making to stop him. They can't stop him because Trump is not just a candidate, he's an idea. And he's an idea whose time has come. It's Wednesday, and it's Real Truth, and I'll be back.
We all know that our government is out of control. What are the points of people in it? How can we, the people, bring it back to the people's servants, not the people's masters? Liberty Forum and the Freedom Rider say officials in government must be made accountable for their actions. AccountabilityRevolution.com is the place to go to learn how you can actually make that happen. Become their judges, not their slaves. AccountabilityRevolution.com. Fort Collins Radiator Shop reminds us child abuse is not America's status crime. Child abuse is not just some other family's problem. If you or anyone you know needs help, call your local authority. This message is the Fort Collins Radiator Shop, 417 Jefferson Street in Fort Collins, serving the community for over 47 years. Howard.
Yes.
Forgive me, but I'm going to have to say check or test over the air once you're on live again.
Okay, so shall I wait for it, or are you going to talk over me, or what?
I'll just talk to you.
Okay.
Was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, He has declared Him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. I think we got a test coming up. Michael, you're with me? I'm talking to Michael Golden, the station manager. I'm hoping he's there. I think he's there. More than that, I have faith that he's there. And so I'm going to wait for a cue from Michael before I go on with the show. But I will go on with the show. Of that, you may rest assured. There's just too much to talk about not to go on with it. So I'm waiting for a cue from Michael, and then we will go on with the show. I'm going to play you a clip from Donald Trump's foreign policy talk in Washington, D.C. just this morning. It's hot off the presses, so to speak. I'm only going to be able to play a little bit of it. It went on for about an hour. And he laid out a very clear, very concise, and succinct vision for foreign policy, which differs from that of Barack Obama because it's the foreign policy put together by intelligent adults, as opposed to the Obama policy, which was put together with a goal of supporting the Muslim world and defeating America. I recommend that you go to my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio. You will find a link to this talk in its entirety. I recommend that you watch it, that you share it, and that you tell people about it, talk to people about it, because it puts America first. Now, I'm assuming I'm on the air, even though I haven't heard a confirmation of that. And so I'm going to start playing this Trump video, and I invite you to listen along with me. Here we go. It's the very beginning of his talk.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you, and thank you to the Center for National Interest for honoring me with this invitation. It truly is a great honor. I'd like to talk today about how to develop a new foreign policy direction for our country, one that replaces randomness with purpose, ideology with strategy, and chaos with peace. It's time to shake the rust off.
From 9:20 to 11:30, you have your meetings with Mr.
Rust off America's foreign policy. It's time to invite new voices and new visions into the fold, something we have to do. The direction I will outline today will also return us to a timeless principle. My foreign policy will always put the interests of the American people and American security above all else. Has to be first.
My friends, as opposed to Barack Obama's foreign policy, which put the Arab Middle East, the Muslim Middle East, and terrorists around the world first, and Americans last. And by the way, that's the Obama and Hillary Clinton foreign policy.
Has to be. That will be the foundation of every single decision that I will make. America first will be the major and overriding theme of my administration. But to chart our path forward, we must first briefly take a look back. We have a lot to be proud of. In the 1940s, we saved the world. The greatest generation beat back the Nazis and Japanese imperialists. Then we saved the world again, this time from totalitarianism and communism. The Cold War, it lasted for decades, but guess what? We won, and we won big. Democrats and Republicans working together got Mr. Gorbachev to heed the words of President Reagan, our great president, when he said, "Tear down this wall." History will not forget what he did. Very special man and president. Unfortunately, after the Cold War, our foreign policy veered badly off course. We failed to develop a new vision for a new time. In fact, as time went on, our foreign policy began to make less and less sense. Logic was replaced with foolishness and arrogance, which led to one foreign policy disaster after another. They just kept coming and coming. We went from mistakes in Iraq to Egypt to Libya to President Obama's line in the sand in Syria. Each of these actions have helped to throw the region into chaos and gave ISIS the space it needs to grow and prosper. Very bad. It all began with the dangerous idea that we could make Western democracies out of countries that had no experience or interest in becoming a Western democracy. We tore up what institutions they had, and then were surprised at what we unleashed.
And my friends, this is a key point. This business about foisting democracy on countries that neither know it nor want it is a liberal idea. It's a utopian make-believe idea. It's the way liberals think. It's true because I want it to be true. And America and the world are suffering as a result of this liberal fog. Let's go back to Donald Trump.
Civil war, religious fanaticism, thousands of Americans and just killed, lives wasted, horribly wasted. Many trillions of dollars were lost as a result. The vacuum was created that ISIS would fill. Iran, too, would rush in and fill that void, much to their really unjust enrichment. They have benefited so much, so sadly for us. Our foreign policy is a complete and total disaster. No vision, no purpose, no direction, no strategy. Today, I want to identify 5 main weaknesses in our foreign policy. First, our resources are totally overextended. President Obama has weakened our military by weakening our economy. He's crippled us with wasteful spending, massive debt, low growth, a huge trade deficit, and open borders. Our manufacturing trade deficit with the world is now approaching $1 trillion a year. We're rebuilding other countries while weakening our own. Ending the theft of American jobs will give us resources we need to rebuild our military, which has to happen, and regain our financial independence and strength. I'm the only person running for the presidency who understands this, and this is a serious problem. I'm the only one, believe me, I know them all. I'm the only one that knows how to fix it. Secondly, our allies are not paying their fair share, and I've been talking about this recently a lot. Our allies must contribute toward their financial, political, and human costs, have to do it, of our tremendous security burden. But many of them are simply not doing so. They look at the United States as weak and forgiving and feel no obligation to honor their agreements with us. In NATO, for instance, only 4 of 28 other member countries, besides America, are spending the minimum required 2% of GDP on defense. We have spent trillions of dollars over time on planes, missiles, ships, equipment, building up our military to provide a strong defense for Europe and Asia. The countries we are defending must pay for the cost of this defense, and if not, the U.S. must be prepared to let these countries defend themselves. We have no choice. The whole world will be safer if our allies do their part to support our common defense and security. A Trump administration will lead a free world that is properly armed and funded beautifully. Thirdly, our friends are beginning to think they can't depend on us. We've had a president who dislikes our friends and bows to our enemies, something that we've never seen before in the history of our country. He negotiated a disastrous deal with Iran, and then we watched them ignore its terms even before the ink was dry. Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon, cannot be allowed, remember that, cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon.
My friends, let me jump in. There's only one way, not 2 ways, one way to keep Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Only one. We've seen that sanctions don't work, negotiations don't work. We've seen that they cannot be trusted. The only way to stop them is to physically stop them, which means devastating their nuclear facilities. But wait, won't that mean civilians will be killed? You bet your ass civilians will be killed. And that's a tragedy. But it's a tragedy that's the responsibility of the Iranian government, which has some notion of waging nuclear jihad. Won't happen. Let's go back to Trump.
And under a Trump administration, will never, ever be allowed to have that nuclear weapon. All of this without even mentioning the humiliation of the United States with Iran's treatment.
Oh, hang on one second. Hang on one second. We got a little glitch for a second and we are back.
The humiliation of the United States with Iran's treatment of our 10 captured sailors. So vividly, I remember that day. In negotiation, you must be willing to walk. The Iran deal, like so many of our worst agreements, is the result of not being willing to leave the table. When the other side knows you're not going to walk, it becomes absolutely impossible to win. You can't win. At the same time, your friends need to know that you will stick by the agreements that you have with them. You've made that agreement, you have to stand by it, and the world will be a better place. President Obama gutted our missile defense program, then abandoned our missile defense plans with Poland and the Czech Republic. He supported the ouster of a friendly regime in Egypt that had a long-standing peace treaty with Israel and then helped bring the Muslim Brotherhood to power in its place. Israel, our great friend, and the one true democracy in the Middle East, has been snubbed and criticized by an administration that lacks moral clarity. Just a few days ago, Vice President Biden again criticized Israel, a force for justice and peace, for acting as an impatient peace area in the region. President Obama has not been a friend to Israel. He's treated Iran with tender love and care and made it a great power. Iran has indeed become a great, great power in just a very short period of time because of what we've done. All of the expense, and all at the expense of Israel, our allies in the region, and very importantly, the United States itself. We picked fights with our oldest friends, and now they're starting to look elsewhere for help. Remember that. Not good. Fourth, our rivals no longer respect us. In fact, they're just as confused as our allies. But an even bigger problem is that they don't take us seriously anymore. Truth is, they don't respect us.
And my friends, I'm going to stop the video there. There's no reason they should respect the United States as long as we have children running it. Children, I mean Obama and Clinton, who think like children, who approach things like children. They're weak, they're stupid, and so of course America has lost the world's respect. Obviously, we're about to get it back. We're about to earn it back. Now, you can see the entirety, like I said, of this speech, and I recommend you do. It's on my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio. Here's some of how it was reported. From thehill.com, Donald Trump warned against the false song of globalism in a major foreign policy address on Wednesday, unquote. And it is a false song. It's time America tends to America and Americans. We'll be right back.
Howard, stay online, please. Stay online, please.
Okay.
Stop the music. Stop the music. Howard, are you still there?
I'm here.
You can hear me all right?
I hear you perfectly.
We apologize for interrupting your show, especially when the truth is being spoken.
Not a problem. Was I on in that last segment or was I off?
You're dead on.
All right. Thank you.
You are right on, sir.
Thank
you
you.
very much. We need to test a piece of equipment.
Excellent.
I appreciate that. We'll return you to the Howard Real Truth Show.
Rehabilitation and Nursing Center of the Rockies reminds everyone the chance of involvement in an auto accident rises dramatically with the consumption of alcohol or use of drugs. Please think before you drive. Don't let drugs or alcohol ruin your life or take the lives of others. You are responsible for your own safety as well as the safety of those around you. This message from Rehabilitation and Nursing Center of the Rockies. For information on their services, call 970-484-7981.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom catered capabilities as modest emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, and the world did not know him. He came to his own, and his own did not receive him. But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 10 through 13. Article 4.
1, 2, 3. Howard,
The right of the
can you hear me now?
people to be secure
Yeah, I hear you, Michael.
houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable
Howard,
searches
can you
and
hear me
seizures.
now?
Yes, Michael, I hear you.
And no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
Back to business. Guys, welcome back to Real Truth. I'm Howard Riell. Consider this a public service. A lot of you have been listening to Donald Trump talk about lying Ted Cruz. And you think to yourselves, okay, I accept what you say, Mr. Trump, but what are some examples of Ted Cruz's lies? Well, here I am, to the rescue. I found a video on the internet, and again, you'll find it on my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio, that chronicles Ted Cruz's lies. What it does is present Ted Cruz telling a lie, and then Donald Trump telling the truth. Ted Cruz lying, Donald Trump telling the truth. Listen to this, and his lies will become obvious. Here we go.
Donald Trump has pledged to expand Obamacare into socialized medicine.
It's dead. It's going to look. Obamacare is dead. It's going to be repealed. It's going to be replaced.
Obamacare is a disaster. Obamacare is going to be repealed and replaced with something so much better. And unlike Donald Trump, I will never compromise away our Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms.
So important is our Second Amendment. The politicians are chipping away at it day by day, night by night. It gets weaker and weaker. We're not going to let it happen. We are going to protect our Second Amendment. If I'm president, you can count on it 100%.
Donald Trump supports Planned Parenthood.
And absolutely, they should be defunded. I thought, it's so cavalier and so horrible. I just thought it was incredible. So, anyway, the answer is, in my opinion, they should absolutely be defunded.
So you see, what's happening is Cruz is saying Trump said X, and then they present Trump in his own words saying Y. So Cruz is lying in each of these instances. Let's go back to it.
American taxpayers will pay $500 billion to that organization
No, I said
a year.
defund. I didn't say pay.
Yeah.
I said I have a lot of respect for some of the things. They do the cervical cancer on women. They do many, many good things. I know many women that
No
think it's
taxpayer
great.
money.
No, not while they do abortions. I made that clear.
Donald Trump pledges to be neutral between Israel and the Palestinians.
How important, though, is our alliance? They're our number one ally in the region, and that alliance has been, well, fractured in a big way.
Israel is so important. What Obama has done to Israel is a disgrace. It's a disaster, and we have to protect Israel.
Donald Trump says he will keep in place the Iranian nuclear deal. Never, ever, ever in my life have I seen any transaction so incompetently negotiated as our deal with Iran. Donald Trump promises to compromise with Harry Reid and Chuck Schumer on Supreme Court nominees.
What criteria would you use to pick some of them?
Very conservative, very, very smart.
There were young people who are going to be here. Now, none of y'all have a degree from Trump University. You know, it's easy to talk about making America great again. You can even print that on a baseball cap. But the question is, do you understand the principles that made America great in the first place?
Carson was suspending his campaign. That was false. The campaign put out flyers accusing people of voting violations. That was false. In South Carolina, a Cruz super PAC attacked Trump over the Confederate flag, and your then communications director posted a link this week accusing Rubio of disrespecting the Bible. That was false. Question: do you take personal responsibility? This was your campaign, except for the super PAC. You take personal responsibility for this series of incidents, and what does it say about the culture of the campaign you're running?
Chris, every accusation you raised there is incorrect. I appreciate your reading the Donald Trump attack file on that.
Oh, come on,
Let
sir.
me tell you, our
You
campaign
personally
has been from the highest...
wait a minute,
Chris,
sir.
let me answer. Please
You
don't
personally
interrupt me.
apologized to Ben Carson on
Chris,
a debate
please don't
stage.
interrupt me.
You fired your communications director.
Chris,
Don't
please.
say the file on our part, sir.
Chris, please don't interrupt me.
Well, please don't say that. Accuse me of something I didn't
Go ahead,
do.
Chris. Let me know when I'm allowed to answer.
Well, don't accuse me of doing something I didn't do. Two of those things, you apologized for one, and you fired your communications director. Don't say this is the Oppo file.
Chris, our campaign from the beginning has been the highest level of integrity. When others have engaged in personal attacks and insults, we don't respond in...
I want to talk about your thoughts on Ted Cruz. He's self-absorbed, he's got this giant ego.
It's Bob Dole speaking.
Overly ambitious. He entered the Senate as a Canadian citizen.
A man who has 50 years of dirty tricks behind him. He's a man for whom...
All right, folks, I'm going to stop it there. Like I said, this video is on my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio. Let me say this about Ted Cruz. He is a liar, and he lies repeatedly, and he's been caught again and again and again lying. But there's something worse than that. Ted Cruz will tell you that he's all for America. He wants to be president in order to improve America, to help America. Well, if that were true, if that were not a lie also, he would help America by helping bring the Republican Party together now. How would he do that? Real simple. Get out of the race. He needs to drop out of the race because as long as he's in it, and as long as he's pitching snarky insults at Donald Trump, he's not helping the Republican Party. He's not helping America. He's helping the establishment. He's helping Hillary Clinton. Well, that's not a coincidence. Ted Cruz is part of the same establishment as Hillary Clinton. So he can yammer all he wants about wanting what's best for America. Clearly he doesn't, because he is mathematically eliminated from getting the nomination at the convention in July in Cleveland. And so he and his friend Kasich should get out of the race. Stop this nonsense about tag teaming together to bring down Trump, which serves no one except them. And try putting America first. You do that by putting making the RNC's unity your priority. The party has to unite behind a single candidate, obviously it's Trump, and start going after Hillary. Cruz won't do that because Cruz is after Cruz. And Cruz wants to solidify his connections to the machine, to the Bush crime family, to the Council on Foreign Relations, to Goldman Sachs. That's Cruz. He's a liar. He's a hypocrite. He's not all for America. He's all for Cruz. Well, my friends, we've had decades and decades and decades of politicians who are for themselves first and second and third, and it's brought us just about to the edge of the cliff. We can't take 4 or 8 more years of a leader in the White House who doesn't give a rat's butt about America. Ted Cruz is taking millions and millions of dollars from special interests. So is Kasich. So is Clinton. Trump is not. And that makes all the difference in the world. Trump is not owned by the powerful, the elite, the establishment, the special interest. Trump is free to work for America and Americans. I said it yesterday. We probably will not get another opportunity like this. So we better jump on it, especially given the fact that certainly 1, but possibly 2, 3, 4 vacancies on the Supreme Court in the next 4 years. Unless you want them filled by Hillary Clinton, I suggest you urge Cruz and Kasich to drop out and let's get behind Trump all the way. We'll take a break. Real Truth marches on. Alright guys, that's enough truth for one day. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow with more. Do go to my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio. Listen to Trump's foreign policy speech. It's excellent. Hasta luego.